My last week has been spent frantically playing through this game called The Surge. It was a somber and uneasy experience. The dimly lit corridors, the weird drones, the screaming psychopaths covered in techno, swinging around their large metal objects like literal zombies, devoid of meaning or direction, just wild and more like a wild animal than a human, and so reckless with their regard for their own safety. Ah, what an experience! But not all good. Not all was good at all. It's certainly a gripping experience. At least it was to me. I have played the previous game, the Lords of the Fallen that they've made, and I've really liked that game, even though I think that one may have been equally difficult as this one. And this one had a lot of difficulty, way more than I had thought. And it's not good difficulty, I gotta tell you. It handles it like a Dark Souls game, which is good. It handles the... I think it's got decent level design, even though it's missing art direction. It all looks a bit the same, all these levels. They're all so very the same. But I'm not one to complain about that. I can take function over form. I like how all these... I like the design of the levels, even if I don't like the actual art assets they may have used as much. Obviously, Lords of the Fallen was, like, way cooler. It was so beautiful, this gothic type fantasy world. It was so beautiful. I really want to play it again. I may play it again. Well, I'll have to decide. I wonder how long it'll take me the second time around. A lot about these games is just that you're doing it wrong and you don't realize. Like, there was this one boss fight that it was always so close, but it would just continue one-shotting me or something. Or, well, stun-locking me, I guess. It was quite annoying. And then I realized that I had accumulated a large wealth of implants that I could put on. And previously the implants were shit, and it didn't matter much which ones I used. But then I found out that I've got some really good ones that would fit this specific boss, and that made it a lot easier. And even then it still took me like 10 hours to beat that boss. It was pretty insane. And it was really a really lazy boss fight. It was just that shitty robot from the first level again, but this time 3 times. And in between you fight an armored dude that swings around a hammer, and he's like your size. It was like the laziest boss fight of all time. So I occasionally went out and did some backtracking and found some more stuff that might help me, and eventually I finally beat him and I was using a build that didn't even have a potion. It was really crazy because I just used, like, I mean, not a regular potion. It was a potion that refills when you get energy. So all I had to do was continue hitting him and then converting the energy into health, but it was really slow. It wouldn't work, and you need the energy to fight him. So it was a very, very tough boss fight, and I was really proud when I actually beat him, but I'm not proud of the game. I think it was really lacking in that regard, that boss fight there. And I've got very mixed feelings about this game, and it's a very odd experience that I've gone through, but I guess I liked it, yeah. It's always something that's really cool, and then there's something that's retarded and it ruins the whole thing. Like, let's see. Well, they've got good combat mechanics in some ways, but in other ways they're completely worthless. If you look at this game and you see how you swing around the weapon with your mouse 1, it's bullshit. It is literally the dumbest thing that anyone has ever done when it comes to game design. The mouse 1 attack in this game fucking kill it. Kill it with all of the hell's fire in the actual hell. Yes. Fuck the mouse 1 and mouse 2 attacks. They are so incredibly garbage. If this game had an attack button that made you hit yourself on the head, and you could only hit enemies if they stood behind you, that would be a better concept than what they've got. Because what they've got is that it's just so incredibly slow. It doesn't even make sense. If you know anything about martial arts with weapons, then you will know that they do literally everything wrong with those mouse 1 attacks. Look at these attacks. Did you see that? That was me pressing mouse 1. Fucking 3 seconds till I attack. And then I barely moved. I barely even did anything. I barely even moved it in front of me. There it is. And then there's the only good attack move, which is the sprinting one. Yeah, that one works. Kind of. They're super slow. They have a huge build-up that you can't interrupt. And they're totally giving away the fact that you're attacking, so enemies will have plenty of time to parry. And it's just so unfathomable that would be anyone's number 1 attack. And the game has a large variety of weapons, but that's all pointless because they all have shitty dumb attack moves. You got a fucking hammer? Oh, how do we attack with a hammer? Oh, I wonder. Why don't we just spin in a circle? Yeah, that's gonna fucking work. We're just gonna spin in a circle. And then if enemies are around us, yeah, a spin attack. That's perfect. We're not even gonna hold out the hammer. No, we're just gonna hold the hammer in front of us and then we're gonna spin in a circle. Are you fucking kidding me? Just look at these attack animations. Oh my god. Jesus, I sure hope I didn't break my microphone there. Let me listen back to that. It is just unfathomable that a game with such incredibly bad basic combat it actually works. It's just so impossible to understand. And the only thing, well, I mean, it's just mind blowing. This game in every way, it's mind blowing. In every way. So basically, the only way that you're gonna do anything in this game is if you just do the running attack. That's the only thing you can do, because the running attack is incredibly powerful. So it's the complete contrast between the shit normal attack and the running attack, because the running attack goes forward like 10 meters and then it goes upwards. So basically all you do is run away from the enemy and then go do the running attack in a circle so that you hit them from right under the nose. And it's why is that? Why does that make sense? Why does he have a brain when he uses the running attack? And then why is he so incredibly dumb when he doesn't do the running attack? It just doesn't make sense. Nothing about this game makes the slightest bit of sense. Nothing. And you know, I'm really concerned about this, but because I really like this game, but it doesn't make sense because it's so dumb. Now look at this. This is Dark Souls, and this is a spear in Dark Souls. Let's see how long my attacks are when I attack with this spear. You see that? You see how long these attacks are? I can poke the wall from here. I mean, it still takes a little while. I guess it's similar to that in this game, but the attacks are just long, you see? He actually extends the weapon. Equally, when using a sword, you can... Oh, right, that's the block. I forget how this game works. You can stab with the sword, too. And the regular swing with this sword, it's still further than it is in the Surge. It makes sense that your attacks would be as far from you as possible, that they would have the utmost range But that's not how the search works. Now let's look at a spear in the search. You see this? It says it's a staff, but if you have a staff that's pointy in one end, it's a spear. Don't be retards, guys. Just so you know, it's a spear, not a staff. Even though it looks a bit weird. Look at this! Mouse 1. That was one attack, and it only hit the enemy once. It's a spin, it's a step forward. I didn't want to take a whole step forward every time I attack. You see this? Like 90% of the time the weapon is behind me, and only very briefly. Oh wow, I died. I guess I didn't realize I was low health. Oh wait, this is New Game Plus, right? That's why I die instantly. Let me just find an enemy to hit.
Look out for your fellow workers. They look out for you.
Oh yeah, you can jump away. This is the cool thing about this. Unlike Dark Souls, you can jump over a railing. If there's like a railing, you can sprint and then jump and get over it. It's amazing. Well, you don't. If you don't jump, you don't fall over it. This is the beauty of this game. Like that stuff's great. Anyways, let's hit this enemy. You see this? Why are you getting look at this! Is this how you use a fucking spear? You miss your enemy. Okay, I guess that kind of hit. It's just nowhere near the range that it should have. Oh wow, I guess this attack's better. The mouse 2 is slightly better, I guess. Who knew? Look at this, mouse 1 though. Why is it so bad? Why is this the mouse 1? This is a non-upgraded weapon, by the way, so that's why it sucks. Who knew? I guess I just had to use mouse 2 for the spears. If I use that sword I had, mouse 2 wouldn't do anything. It just stabs it like that. This is one attack, by the way. Mouse 2 does 2 attacks. Wait, does it? Mouse 2 does something different when you have an enemy in front of it. It makes very little sense. Hey, look at that. That was mouse 2. Just because there's an enemy, or is it because I hit? Is it because I hit the head? Oh, it's because I hit the head. Okay. Well, never mind then, I guess. I guess everything is different than expected. Well, there you go then. You're basically forced to use this targeting where it targets the head, otherwise it doesn't do the attacks you want. I really liked this game and it's terrible. Well, I guess that's my review, but well, you're gonna have to strap in because I got a lot more to say about this game, and it's probably gonna be a long video. I don't even know. It might not be. Well, you see how long it is. I don't know. I'm right here in the moment talking about it, and I don't know how long it is. So basically, I guess the story is good at the start, but then in the end it doesn't really resolve in any way. And I knew it was gonna do that because it already did that in Lords of the Fallen. Even though Lords of the Fallen had a better ending for sure, a better. It felt better in every way, Lords of the Fallen, the story. But I knew, because I played Lords of the Fallen, I knew that you were going to have to kill everyone. I knew that was going to happen. Because you're just going to have to kill everyone. It's a game that's a hack and slash game, and it does not give a shit. So basically, the guys that you think are going to be friendly, they're not going to be friendly. Everyone's going to be enemies. So when you see the security personnel, you can just go ahead and kill them because they're going to be hostile regardless, eventually. They're not outright hostile at first, but it doesn't even make sense. I mean, they're kind of dickheads. Most of the NPCs are dickheads anyways. There's one guy who's a junkie, and he's like the second least annoying one. And he has you fetching fucking drugs for him, and then he's got like one line after when he's got the drugs and he's like, oh yep, those were some good drugs. He doesn't even. It doesn't even resolve in any way. If you give someone drugs in Dark Souls, you're gonna see him die from an overdose. But if you do this thing, he's just gonna say, yep, I remember you did that one thing for me. Also, I do cocaine. And that's it. There's no development with these stories. And it's pretty crazy how that happens. So maybe there isn't a development because I didn't rescue that woman. Now, there's 3 NPCs in the area. I rescued the men, but I didn't rescue the woman because the woman was an extreme cunt. When she meets a stranger in a society where everyone's zombies, and her thing is, no, I don't give my phone number to everyone, even if it's a joke. Fuck you, bitch. I don't need this bitching about your past boyfriends. I don't need this you pretending that you're some kind of emancipated woman. Fucking no. I walked right away from her. And I met her again, and then she was equally annoying, and God, I don't even know, maybe she turns out to be alright, but fuck her. And then, the main woman, she's alright, but then her ending was really crazy too. I mean, it wasn't crazy, it's crazy that there isn't an ending. It's like you see her, and then you can't talk to her anymore. Did I have to go out and find her somewhere? Is that what? But how would I know where she is if I can't talk to her on the Skype call anymore? It's very confusing to me. What can I do? What is there to be done about these NPCs? Did I fail at the story? Could I have explored the story some more? And what about this security woman that basically she gives you a side quest that you need to give her security armor because she's lost her security armor, and you do that by killing other security guards, like lots of them, so you can craft that armor, which I didn't do because resources are kind of pretty valuable and scarce in this game. So what would have happened? Maybe I would have even been able to find a way to not kill all the security guards. Could you imagine? But I don't think so, because like half of the enemies in the late game are the security guards, so surely not. Who could tell though? And even that boss fight that took me so long was basically a security guard. Yeah, the boss fights, oh god. I looked up the third boss because I couldn't find her, and it said extreme difficulty, and then I beat it in like the third try because I had mastered the art of doing the sprint attack. And it's so crazy, by the way, back on the combat, the shit combat. There's fast weapons and they deal like 0 damage. They deal literally 0 damage. You'd have to hit the guy like 20 times for them to die from a fast weapon. And that was even at the start where I didn't lack the proficiency or anything. So fast weapons were just never an option. Maybe it's because I picked the Rhino class, but I would think not. I mean, maybe. Probably not though. They were just so bad, these fast weapons. But it turns out it doesn't matter anyways. He still takes forever to attack with the fast weapons because he's just completely brain dead, retarded. Like, I guess that's what happened. He must have. There's a cutscene where he's getting his implants and they're drilling into his brain without anesthesia, and maybe he's retarded. Who knows? That could have happened. I mean, all the enemies have those fucking brain implants. Maybe that's why they can't attack. But that doesn't explain why the same issue is in Lords of the Fallen. That has the same non-attack animations, where you've got a spear and your fucking attack is to twirl it in your hand and then swing it around your head. And every time you attack, he twirls it in his hand before he does the attack. It's just so mind-blowingly retarded. So anyways, all you do is the dash attack. That's all you do. You just run back, do the dash attack. there's shitloads of upgrades that allow you to have more stamina, so you can do your dash attack more, because the implants are actually quite interesting. There's a lot of possibilities for customizability, and it's pretty neat. But yeah, you're just gonna do the dash attack all of the time until you find like a weak enemy, and then you're just gonna wail on him with your incredibly shitty normal attack. If you don't care. Maybe if you've got that lifesteal armor set, then maybe you can do it. By the way, the armor sets, they give you set bonuses, and you can only find them out if you look them up online. Grade A grade A game design, by the way. And there's only one that's only remotely useful, and that's the crystal one, and that gives you health back every time you kill an enemy, making it basically. Well, you can imagine if Dark Souls gave you health back, you killed an enemy. It would make the game easier. It sure would. And because the enemies are not amazing either, they take. Wait, no, they can attack pretty quick, but you know they're either gonna attack quick or they're gonna attack far. They're never gonna attack quick and far, unless that one boss that I died to so many times. So basically, it's easy enough to avoid damage, and you just do the dash attack and jump back afterwards, and you should be safe. So the combat basically works, but it just doesn't work the way it does, because every time you end up doing that normal attack, you're probably gonna regret it, unless there's just one enemy and you can stun lock him. And the heavy weapons don't even stun lock properly sometimes. I mean, some of the enemies are just immune to knockback, and that's just so much more frustrating. And that's the same enemies that respawn when they die, by the way. They're basically like the Dark Souls enemies that respawn, only that they always do it once. Because in Dark Souls you could just kill the sorcerers, and then the skeletons would stop getting back up. But in this game, these enemies, they just always get up once. It's so crazy how they have all these good ideas, and they just fuck them up by, oh yeah, let's make them so they, every time you kill them, come back to life once. Yeah, that's not gonna get old. No, you're right. And the fact that they have infinite stamina and they don't get interrupted by attacks makes it all the more amazing. And then even if you cut off their limbs, which is another feature, by the way, cutting off their limbs, they're gonna hobble at you afterwards if you've done that. Or you cut off their head, they're still gonna get you. Those ones at least. The other enemies, they just die permanently when they've lost their limbs. So that's the thing that happens. God, those weird cyborg skeletons, they are the oddest enemies. Alright, so what was I talking about? Oh god, I just had it at the tip of my brain. Alright, so one thing was ranged weapons, and the other thing is the dismemberment system. So let's talk about ranged weapons and the lack thereof, which is really... I mean, it makes sense considering you're completely retarded, so it would clearly be overpowered if you could use a gun, but then they really are retarded, you know, it's just so bad. This is just the short bus of game design right here. So basically, the deal is that you've got an exosuit, and every enemy has an exosuit, so all it would take to use the weapons that the enemies have is to cut off their hand that wields the weapon and take the weapon. But then, oh, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna give the enemies weapons that you can't have. And not even boss enemies. No, we're just gonna give the basic enemies weapons that you can't have. What a brilliant fucking design! I see I'm already peaking again. I'm louder than my mic should allow. This is getting real frustrating. You know, when these flamethrower guys came up the first time, I thought, oh my god, yes, I want that weapon. Give me that flamethrower. I'm finally gonna be able to stop using that goddamn terrible mouse 1 attack. It would have worked too. You could have the normal attack, and then you could do the flamethrower attack where he stands still and shoots at the target. That would have been so good. But you can't do it because, guess what? It just never drops. The flamethrower never drops. And there's There's two weapons like that. There's the flamethrower, and then there's the grenade launcher, and there's no reason why they couldn't have done it so you could get them. It would work so well even in the game. I could imagine having those weapons and it would be so amazing. All you'd have to do is make it so you're gonna hit them with the melee of that weapon, and then you can retreat and use the energy that you've gained from attacking them to shoot them with flamethrower or with grenades, and it would be the best thing ever. But no, they decided not to give you those weapons, even though the enemies wear the exact same suits as you wear, so they should be able to also have the same weapons that you have. But no flamethrower for you, at least not for me. I don't know, maybe, I guess it's possible there's a way to find one, but it doesn't make sense. But why would you have this system in place and then there's so little variety in this game, and then you still restrict the player from having those little items that there are? God damn. Wouldn't it have been that OP to have... Well, I suppose the problem is probably that they didn't make aiming mechanics, so it would have been difficult, but... Nah, they should have done. They should have made an attack. They didn't have aiming mechanics in Dark Souls, and it just shot straight forward, and that was good still. It was really good still. You could have had... You should have really put in those... You can't just taunt me with those enemies wearing the exact same gear, but then having access to flamethrowers and grenade launchers, and I don't. You just can't have done that to me. Especially because there's so little variety in this game already. There's only so few things. There's only like drones that fly. That's one enemy type. And then there's humans. And then there's two types of big robots. And that's it. There's nothing else. There's no more variety to it than that. So basically everything else, every enemy is going to be a variety of those. I guess they... No? Well, I guess the last boss is kind of a big hulking robot too, and that's a different type. So I guess he got 3 big robots. Alright, great. But it's just so incredible that this is the choices that they've made. Would it have been that hard to introduce some more actual enemy types that aren't just basically reskins of the normal types that have just the mildest differences? And then you can roleplay as them, but I mean, all the humans, that you can get all of the gear and you can roleplay as them, I guess, but you're not going to get great benefits. It's only the crystallis enemies that are worth getting, because that's the armor that gives you regeneration. I mean, I guess it gives you health when you kill an enemy, that's what I meant to say. So anyways, the limb cutting off system. So basically, every time you lock onto an enemy, you can choose the mouse wheel and to highlight a body part that you want to hit. And you would think that's a brilliant idea, right? Because that way you get to dismember them. But A, they die when you dismember them, so basically it's just a fancy death, and then all you get is that armor drop from that body part that you've cut off. And that's all you get. So if you cut their torso, you cut them in half and you get the armor from the torso. If you cut the hand, it drops the hand armor and maybe the weapon. It's a good system in theory, but then obviously, as the theme of this review, I'm going to tell you how it's bullshit. And the way it's bullshit is that they obviously couldn't help themselves, right? They obviously had to fucking make that system so important that you basically deal like 20% less damage if you don't highlight a body part, and then you're gonna deal another 50% extra damage if you highlight a body part that is not armored. And most of the enemies, like 90% of them will have one body part that takes extra damage. Oh, by the way, I guess I forgot that there's also a really, really, really annoying type of robot, Scorpion Dog. And whenever you see that one, oh my god, it is literally the most annoying thing you could ever fathom. But yeah, anyways, cutting off parts. So, basically, it's a good system if it wasn't mandatory, you see. The fact that you have to use that clunky system of locking in and then selecting a body part for every enemy that you want to kill with a little extra damage, which will be most of them because the game is pretty hard, it's just really bad. Why doesn't it... How about you already have implants? Why don't you just make an implant that automatically makes you hit the weakest target? That would be so smart, wouldn't it? Huh. Oh, by the way, if you want to cut off their body parts, you're gonna aim for the parts that are armored, because you want to collect that armor at first. So that's gonna make it even harder to kill them, which is a good idea in theory. But then they should have made it so they should have made it so the default option would be to kill them the quick way, and then you'd have to lock on and then aim for the armor part to make it difficult for yourself, so you get the drop. They should have made it so whenever you don't lock on to them, you're just gonna hit them indiscriminately, and you're gonna randomly get the armor part or not. You only get the armor part, by the way, if you do the execution. And that leads me to another minor gripe that I have. It's that you have to hold down the E button. And I don't know why. Just literally every use of the E button is holding it down. What is the fucking point of that? If you're gonna have holding it down, you should also have it tapping for another function. There's no reason why you would have... Well, I think it's the same thing Far Cry did, I don't know. But every time you want to execute an enemy, you have to hold down the button. And why is that? You already had to attack them for long enough to get them low health, and then you have to hold down the button, and while you hold down the button, you don't even do anything. Basically, you were holding down the button for like a second. That's just to tell your character to do the execution. Why? Why doesn't he just do it with tapping? I don't understand. And the same thing goes for picking up items and pressing buttons and basically everything that uses the E button. And why? Why would that particular button always require a long press? I just don't understand. You could still make it so that the execution could get interrupted after I've tapped it. You didn't need to make me press it for a second every time. And it doesn't even make sense, because these executions, they just straight up can't get interrupted. And if you press a button in front of an enemy, the enemy's gonna hit the air for like the whole 10 seconds it takes you to press that button. And it's so goofy. But that 1 second where you had to press down the button while staring at it blankly, that's the 1 second where you were weak. It just doesn't make sense. And then there's some things where you have to hold it down even longer, even though it's just a regular button. And you're even immortal while you do it, so it's just really weird control designs all around. Oh, and the physics. The physics of the boxes you break, it's really bad too. I think Jim Sterling may have mentioned this in his review, or maybe thinking of someone else, but it's real bad, those physics boxes that contain stuff. In Dark Souls 3, in any Dark Souls, it's such a joy to break that stuff. It's got beautiful little physics. But this just has literally the worst physics. The stuff will just come to a rest in the middle of the air, the broken fragments. They're gonna be floating through the air, and you can't hit them anymore because the physics engine has decided that they've finished their physics simulation in that position, and you can just walk through them while they're in the air, and it's just so bad. And not just that, sometimes when you walk by, just randomly stuff explodes. Not in a way that hurts you. Just when you walk by, like a breakable crate, the crate will just randomly self-explode, and it looks really goofy. And then the physics will make that huge piece fly somewhere, and it's gonna, like, it doesn't have gravity because I don't know, it must be made of feathers, and it's just flying around. And then there's really big ones too, and it's got really bad physics. I don't know why they didn't take the time to make good physics. Maybe that's why all the enemies disappear instead of having proper ragdolls. Who could tell? Yeah, it's pretty weird. Well, I guess that was a bunch of gripes I had. I gotta say the exploration is really nice. I like how all the paths loop back in on themselves, and they have shortcuts. I think that's a really beautiful type of game design, level design. They don't have it much in Dark Souls anymore. They had it in Dark Souls 1, I think. This game does it even more than Dark Souls 1. It's got such amazing shortcuts. I really like the level design. Whenever you don't have that greasy Indian man talking to you about how amazing science is. Oh, but at least he had a really good a really good story ending. Yeah, you're gonna watch out for him. And by the way, the audio logs are fucking audio logs. They keep getting interrupted whenever you press a button, because the button has to fucking talk to you too, because everything has to talk to you. So basically, if you find an audio log, sometimes it gets interrupted. Sometimes even enemies, something else will talk to you. They put in these audio logs that you pick up, and then they talk to you as you move forward. But then they will put like a bunch of them together. You can't pick them up and make them play one by one. No, they're gonna play. They're gonna interrupt each other, and you can actually go to the menu and find the audio logs, but you don't know which one you just picked up, because it does mark them as new. But then by the time you look at that menu, they're all going to be marked as new, because you've never looked at that menu before. You only wanted to find out if you could find out that audio log now. You're not going to have looked at that menu before you got an audio log interrupted. It's too bad. I don't know. I wish they wouldn't have done that, where the audio logs just stop playing if anyone else talks to you for some reason. Oh, and I guess I have one more gripe. There you go. We've got these. Well, the final boss, I'm going to spoil this for you now, so you may want to quit this. I guess I'm done after this anyway, so subscribe and stuff. Anyway, so the last enemy is... Originally, it looks beautiful. You get into this... You see this corruption. You see these crystallized structures. And then you see enemies that are crystallized humans, and it's so beautiful. And then they do a twirling attack towards you that instant kills you. Oh jeez, what has happened? It actually turns out they're really hard, but they're kind of fair. They're really. I guess they're light enemies. That means they get interrupted easily. And you can parry them and everything. Oh yeah, parrying, by the way. Maybe I should talk about that one too. Right, so basically they're beautiful. These crystallized humans, they're amazing. But then you just have this sense of wonder. You're in this beautiful area where you can use the elevator, and the elevator is the checkpoint. So you can actually move the checkpoint up and down in this sprawling level, and it's amazing. And then you come to this, you find more and more of this crystallized stuff, and oh my god, there's a huge blob of crystallized, and oh my god, it's literally the worst fight of all time. When I came towards this crystal blob, he basically made a spike out of nowhere, and then he hit me like 3 times and stabbed me in the ass with it. Oh my god, it was so bad. So instantly, this amazing sense of wonder that we've discovered this new type of enemy. I guess I forgot to mention that one too. Alright, so I guess we've got like 10 enemy types or something, whatever. Not enough, I tell you. So basically, you have this wonder of exploring this beautiful area that was basically, I guess it's sci-fi area still, and then there's this even more advanced sci-fi, these nanocrystals, and what is the ultimate combat shape? Oh god, it's a blob that makes really unfair spike attacks that clips through everything. God, what is up with that? You had such promise. You were supposed to be the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the force, not plunge it into darkness. Why, you beautiful nanocrystals? Why did you have to become a blob that has attacks that you basically can't read because it's a fucking blob? Why did you have to... Why? Why would that have to be it? I mean, it makes sense for you to be that way, but it doesn't make sense for a game to have this as an enemy. I mean, if you see this in a movie and it's like a blob, it would be cool because it would do cool things if it was in a movie. Like, if it's the Terminator and it's got this shape-shifting orb, this shape-shifting metal guy, that was cool as fuck. But this is just the laziest enemy design of all time. It's just this black blob that has attacks that you totally can't read. Some of them are ranged, some of them are long-ranged melee attacks, and sometimes it spawns children that are really annoying and stun you. It's just the worst. And then once you see it, it's even worse than you could ever have imagined, because now there's 10 of them that now cover this previously beautiful area. Oh my god. And that's pretty close to the end, but I didn't know where to go, so I got lost. But I could have just taken the elevator down and then entered the crystal ship, and then I could have fought the final boss. Which is actually quite alright, I guess, the final boss. So I guess it ended on a decent note. I even liked the ending cutscene. So that's it. The Surge. The Surge. Not the Search. Right, that's the game. That's the game that I've played and reviewed. Tell me what you think of the Surge. It's... I guess I'm gonna have to say 5 out of 10. I can't hate it, I can't love it. I guess I can love it and hate it. I don't know what I do! This game makes me confused about what I want. Oh, the block button, by the way. The block button works, but then it makes it so that you make an even... Okay, so I guess the idea behind the block button is that you do a counterattack, and I suppose the counterattack is potentially faster than your regular attack, because if you did your regular attack you wouldn't be able to follow up enough because it's so goddamn slow. So basically, a parry attack is a fast attack, but it's incredibly weak. So parrying is good, but if you had dodged and then done a dash attack, you would have been faster. So basically, I guess I never tried doing a dash attack after blocking. I guess that could work. And instead of doing that shitty parry attack, maybe if I just run I could actually do a dash attack. I never tried that. Huh. Well, I suppose it's possible that would be a better option than doing the normal parry attack, because that one's extremely weak. And the parrying actually feels good, because they get knocked back, but then the parry attack is pretty shit. There's also a backstab attack that is also kind of weak. I wonder what they were thinking there. I guess they just thought it was obligatory. But you're really noisy with your fucking exoskeleton, so there's not really much potential for stealth. I've only done the backstab attack like twice in the whole game. It's pretty crazy. Oh god, I just made a 40 minutes rant about the Surge, and my cheeks are hurting because of how loudly I was ranting. And I didn't even mention that I really love the subject matter of humanity being replaced by robots, which is why I really like this game's plot, while I don't like it seeming.
I know. You've heard me say
What a feature. Well, beware the robot uprising.